Connection with Shade Network activated. Audio file download commencing. Files marked extremely sensitive. Strategic Homeland Division only. Agent commencing transmission.
What's up, agents? You're listening to episode 191 of SITREP Radio, giving you the news and other happenings in the world of the Division 2. This week we're discussing the upcoming changes to skills, but first, my name is Mike, and joining me as always is my co-host, should I say, Robert.
Hello.
And unfortunately, Luke could not be here today. He's not very well at the minute, so we're hoping he should be all well and better for next week's episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you guys and our listeners have had a great week. Welcome to any new listeners of the show. Straight over to you then, Robert. Good week so far?
Yeah, not too bad.
First week back at work full time?
Yeah, I've been ill, haven't I?
Yeah.
Actually went back to the doctor's today. I've still got an ear infection, apparently.
Then what did they give you anything for it? Or?
Yeah, I've got some spray.
Hopefully that just does the job. Otherwise, well, I guess it'd be another week off.
No.
Anyway, we do have some news to talk about, so let's get down to it.
State of the game.
Okay, so state of the game for this week. Hamish was joined by Thailander, or as Rob pre-show aptly named. What did you say?
I didn't call him Highlander. I just said there can only be one.
There can only be one
lines.
Thailander. Bruce Kelly, and they were pretty much discussing the huge changes coming to skills, which I'm very intrigued. It sounds like we're going to have like ultra powerful skills going forward, depending on your build setup.
Yeah.
They did reiterate that there's only going to be 2 talents on your build, so your chest and backpack. It's going to be people are complaining because it's too simplified and all the rest of it. I can kind of understand that, but there's still a little bit of RNG going on in the game. Like, you think the amount of stuff you need to get perfect on your chest and backpack.
Yeah.
You've got your attributes, your talents, your mod slots, and your core attribute, core stat as well. So there's a lot going on. But yeah, something else that they missed out from last week was obviously they're going over the Gear 2.0 stuff, and basically I think it's a really good change. I don't know if you agree, Rob, but it kind of makes sense anyway. We just need a bit more difficult content to go along with it. Is basically they're changing the loot system. So in theory, we already know that you're gonna get slightly less drops. I think they believed you're gonna get 80% of the drops that you're getting now, but they should basically be better, shouldn't they?
Quality over quantity.
Yes. However, if you're playing difficult content, that also means you should get better quality items as a result of it, meaning you should get
more god rolls.
Yeah, basically.
Cool.
Which is pretty cool. It kind of makes sense. It kind of gives people like that push to go play hard content again.
Incentive to challenge yourself.
Something we need in this game. Incentive.
Yes. Oh, if only Luke was here to agree with us.
I could tell exactly what he'd be doing right now. He'd just be sat there shaking his head at us for being dicks. But yeah, I mean, I like the fact they still said that you can get that one god roll on any difficulty, but you can have a higher chance of better rolls on higher difficulties. Kind of interesting to see how the raid plays out with that.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Well, not just that. Like, I really want to see how the raid plays with the changes to skills, the changes to gear, and I'm wondering if it's going to be more difficult or harder, because I'm pretty sure Thailander already came out and said that they've adjusted the TTK.
I mean, the lack of DT is going to be a big issue, for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's like a major factor. There's lots of yellow bars. in the raid.
We're doing Buddy and Lucy without that now. Though that wasn't that bad, I don't think.
I don't think they're affected by DT, are they? Probably
I
not.
can't remember. Is it those or is it the other bosses in the hangar?
I know Razorback is affected by DT. And Boomer,
Really?
Boomer definitely is, yeah.
Yeah, I know Boomer is. I didn't think Razorback would be.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, just a little bit of information before we get started. Okay, so do you want to talk about recalibration or do you want to talk about skills first, Rob?
Recalibration.
Recalibration.
Let's do it in the same order they did. Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so you're still going to have to... you can still recalibrate one stat, talent, mod slot, I believe. However, going forward, you're going to get... I mean, they called it a Pokedex. It's a recalibration library. I don't know how I feel about this. You kind of said, because I sent a message to you whilst you were at the doctor's. I said that, what they're doing. You were like, they might be getting rid of chasing that perfect piece once you've got it. But you're basically going to have the ability going forward. If you get a high drop, attribute, and you want to put that on your chest before, you'd put that piece of gear in your stash or keep it in your backpack. Going forward, you can actually have a place allocated where you destroy the piece of gear. That stat goes into the library under what I think it was like under a piece of gear or weapon. They've got like a whole kind of UI system built for this, haven't they? For individual pieces, and you can then apply it to whatever piece that relates to in the future. The craziest thing about this, though, is the fact that once you have saved that stat to your recalibration library,
you remember it.
And you can use it as many times as you want, which I was like...
Until you forget.
Yeah. But it's kind of insane. Like, you no longer have to have, like, 5 backpacks with, I don't know, health or armor on it anymore. Not that you're going to probably chase after some of those things anymore. All those times of having multiples in your inventory just for the sake of it, just in case, is gone.
That was one thing that I was like, when I was at the doctor's, it took me ages to get my medicine, so I was just thinking about it, and it's like they're cutting down the need for a massive stash space. We're going to have, like, what have we got, 300 spaces now? And we ain't going to fill it. We're not going to need to fill it.
Well, no, because the whole point of having that before, you're basically going to end up with perfect gear just for the loadouts that you use.
Yeah.
But then I kind of feel like you might end up keeping a couple of pieces in your stash waiting. You might have like a decent piece, but you don't know what to kind of use it for. And you just end up keeping it just in case. Or at least I will. That's kind of like how I'm like with my stash space. My stash space is constantly stacked with stuff just in case. But I'm really intrigued by that. You basically said, though, you're a bit worried that they're going to kind of run out of the need for chasing high attribute gear pieces, though.
Yeah, but once you've found and destroyed max god rolls on everything,
which because people will,
especially if they're increasing the quality of the drops, eventually that's going to happen. So then, if you get another good piece that has everything else god roll on it, apart from the stat you like want to switch to, it's going to be good. You're going to have, you're basically implementing, it'll take a bit longer, but it's the OP stage, isn't it?
In a different way, yeah, but you're not buffing all your stats at once.
No.
Are you? The only good thing not the only good thing, but like the other side I can kind of see from us is, yes, we're going to get to a point where if you play the game enough, you're going to get to the highest attribute stat levels across everything.
In your memory, yeah.
In your memory, in your recalibration.
You can only ever roll one of those on, so
yeah,
you still have to farm for the gear to roll it onto.
Yeah, we just have to the talent, the mod slot, and the other
So there's still an element of RNG, but yeah,
it's a lot more reduced than it was before.
A hell of a lot more reduced.
The good thing as well is, if they keep, I'm hoping they keep on doing it, but we know there's a gear score increase or a world tier increase, something like that is coming. They can just keep doing that with this system. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Once you've got to a point where everyone's hit kind of max, and I imagine there's got to be a way for them to track it as well. So if they've got like 80% of the player base that has got most of the attributes pretty much maxed out, then at that point they can look at it and be like, cool, we need to upgrade now.
They haven't really gone into detail of like the scale of like, okay, you might get something that's at the moment you get something that's 598 could be higher than a 500 piece. But it seems to me like they're going to a more linear scale. So like 500 pieces are going to be better than the 598. So if they do keep
498 or 598,
498. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine.
If they keep upping the gear score, then you're going to be constantly chasing for a better stat value. But then that's a bit dangerous as well because they'll have to make the game difficult. Otherwise, there'll be like a power creep.
Yeah, but that's the thing about adjusting the TTK constantly, isn't it? I kind of find like it took a while to find that basis in the first game, and then they kind of found like the sweet spot for it, and it was really good 1 to 30, and it's been pretty good at end game. There's not really been anything too difficult, so I'm hoping with the adjustment of obviously DTEs coming off there, we're not going to be running hybrid builds, even though Thylander confirmed that hybrid builds, there were going to be some hybrid builds coming back to some degree, but they're going to be like secondary, mainly offensive, but they're mainly defensive, but secondary offensive to the defensive kind of thing. Build wise. I don't know. I just think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out when we actually have our hands on the game, because you've got that, we've got the whole gear rework, we've got exotics being reworked and skills. So there's a lot going on whenever this drops. I just hope we get PTS for it.
Yeah, be stupid not to, really.
Well, yeah. Crafting's gonna pretty much work the same as it was before. However, you cannot craft god roll items. That was pretty much like said several times through this as well, wasn't it? It's not a case of you collect your stats and then you can now create the god roll piece of badger, gloves or whatever. It's still the same as it was before. You can just use the recalibration process.
Well, so you can't use, because you can like roll motherly gloves and get like 13% weapon damage on a pair of gloves. Right?
That might be a cheat way of it depends if that.
Can you then use that and delete one and use it as a stat?
I was just thinking.
We don't know, do we?
It depends what happens with named gear going forward, because it's all changed, doesn't it? And even the stats themselves have changed. That could be like half the value that it was before. Because we were looking at the values the other week, weren't we? And it was like 20% of weapon damage on something, and then now it's like 12. I know it's all like work in progress, but there's got to be something to it, But that's got to be a quick way of doing it, I expect. You've just found a shortcut.
Yeah, depending on how many like mats you've got, I guess.
Yeah, what's the quickest way to get like the highest damage roll on gloves? I'll just craft these gloves quick. Add that to my library. Okay, skill power. Skill power, they've teased this for a couple of weeks now. There's going to be a new skill tier system being introduced, because the current one is lacking. This is definitely something that I think has been missing for a while. So going forward, they're going to scale the skills depending on your skill tier, which I think is a really good idea. And it also kind of gets away from that return on investment, negative return on investment.
Linear skill power.
Yes.
Yay.
Rob, what's actually happening with skill power then?
So you can have a skill, one plus skill tier on your major stat, right? And you can have up to 6 skill tiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And each skill tier for each skill has different attributes. And obviously the higher your skill tier, the better it is. Yeah. So if you want 6, you have to have all 6 pieces set with that yellow stat as your main attribute.
Yeah. You have to write. The only thing I was worried about, because I was looking at the build, obviously everything's changed and it's just a development build, but they came up like they circled like the pie section with your gear score where it splits up what your attributes are.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was quite funny because it was like 2 offensive, 7 defensive, and then 9. Was it 9? I think it might have been 9 skill. Christ, can't think. I was like, I had like this moment of, I better check what the armor is on 7, and it was only like 150k armor. So it looks like the armor's actually dropped down compared to what it was before.
Yeah, because you can't roll percentage health as a minor attribute. But what was the health? Sorry, percentage armor. What was the health on?
Unless that was health, I can't remember. I'd have to go back and have a look. But
yeah, but it's a good system. It means if you want to have baller skills, you have to have 6, more than 6. I guess what do the minor actual yellow stats do? What is that like? Can you gear towards a certain skill?
Well, they've got rid of explosive damage now, haven't they? So normally, if you're running explosive damage, you'd run Seekers or not flame turret. What's the hive you put down? I can't remember.
A hive.
The explosive hive that you can use.
Oh, I don't know.
You can, but basically stuff like that. So now that's gone. The fact that you've got skill damage, it's just even across the board, depending on what skills you've got.
Right.
Well, it shouldn't make any difference what skills you've got. It's just going to be this. You're not going to be better for running explosive skills versus like a turret or a drone. Whereas before you would kind of had an advantage because you were running explosive skills. This kind of evens the playing field.
What I like about it is the fact that the main like this tiers gives you the main attributes for your skills, right?
Yeah.
And that can be adjusted because it's static. So they can just, if it's OP, they can just change some of the numbers. And then so you can't have stupidly strong skills, but then they've also got this other thing we're about to talk about.
Oh, yes. But I'm definitely a lot more on board with it. The skills seem powerful, a lot more powerful, would you say?
Yeah, but it's work in progress. Like, I mean, that's those numbers, because they're all static and they can be adjusted, that it's set to the tier, they can just twiddle some numbers and they can rein it in if it's OP as hell.
Yeah, well, they had, what image did they drop? They had, I can't remember where it is. I don't know. But like, for the next bit that we're going to talk about now, so basically you have, once you have obviously, if you want to delve into skills a lot more, you're going to get to a point where you have the ability to become overcharged, where the skills basically get a huge boost, and it's only a temporary boost. This reminded me of our supers from the Division 1.
Yeah, I think I had the exact same thought.
I was like, is he going to say it? No, they didn't say it at all. But I just thought that was quite interesting. The fact that you've temporarily got ability very similar to something from the Division 1, something that they've kind of worked hard to get rid of. And we're kind of going back to it. You know, we're already going back to scaling skills and, you know, talents and gear again. I just thought it was quite interesting. So, yeah, the only way overcharge can be reached is through talents on your build, gear sets, and exotics that apply it. I'm interested. Imagine having the ability to overcharge using like some kind of exotic weapon instead of. I know, but most people probably think gear, but having like I don't know. Imagine if they had it on Pestilence. It's like the worst gun in the game, but you had to have it equipped or something.
You get 3 headshots and your whole team gets overcharged.
That just literally sounds like something from the Division 1 at this point. But if you do that, they threw something out. You'd have the ability for like 300% damage, 140% burn strength, 120% duration, and 200% skill pace. Skill haste. I've got wallpaper on the brain. That's a lot.
You should go to doctors about that.
Oh, to get my wallpaper and sort out. I don't think anyone's going to prescribe a wallpaper to.
No, I mean on your brain. You shouldn't have that on your brain.
What wallpaper? Okay.
Paste. You shouldn't have wallpaper paste on your brain.
Okay. Specifically. But the examples that they gave for things that are going to be overcharged. So flame turret would have a huge radius and was going absolutely mental.
Yeah, it was like it was overarching. If you like, it went behind itself. If you know what I mean. Like normally you have like a little tiny cone where it just goes. This was like almost doubling back on itself.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It kind of looks unusable. It's that fast. Repair hive drains are very fast for a few moments. Ballistic shield gets so much active repair that it becomes temporarily uninvolved.
It's only for a couple of seconds, isn't it?
Yes.
The example they put on the state of the game was exaggerated, I think. I don't think it was supposed to.
Yeah, it was just to show what the hell it was doing. What the hell it's going to be? If it's going to be like 10 seconds or something like that. I can't imagine it being
like that's a bit too long.
Yeah.
It definitely won't be the duration of the skill because some skills last forever.
It's just a boost, isn't it? But it's to promote team play. They're kind of bringing skill players back.
Yeah, but if say you can put a turret down, and they said that you can, like with turrets, you can proc it, but it's got a cooldown of 60 seconds, obviously. But how long? If you're a tier 6, how long does your turret last? Probably for days, right? So,
but your cooldown should be pretty decent. Plus, if you get that
the cooldown on the overcharge is, I think I saw it was 60 seconds.
Oh, so the actual cooldown, right?
Yeah, okay. You could proc it, and then proc it again 60 seconds later, if your skill's still up.
Yeah, that's true. And then you're not waiting almost like 2 minutes for your skill to come back, depending on what your build is. But the good thing as well is you do have the ability to get overcharged. I mean, they showed an example of one of the talents basically allowing you to run overcharge. It was like overcharge if you did something. And what was it? A case of you had it if you were level 1? Or you had like full ability if you were level 6.
No, it was. It would if you weren't level 6, it would give you an extra level for that amount of time.
Oh right, okay, it'd give you an extra tier. Okay,
yeah. But if you were at level 6, it would give you the overcharge.
When I say tier, skill tier, so it'd give you a slight boost, but not enough to be like stupidly OP with it. That's really cool. Yeah. Otherwise, to get overcharged gear sets or exotics, can grant overcharge no matter what skill tier you currently have, which is cool. While there's a good amount of cooldown, you can basically overcharge your entire squad for a couple of seconds. Entire squad, though.
Yeah, but I'd like, if you were a skilled player,
yeah,
and then one of your teammates run the exotic that gives you the overcharge, would you still be on? Would the cooldowns be separate? Do you reckon? So you proc your own overcharge, and then your teammate procs his using his exotic. Would they be on separate so you could chain them?
That's a good question.
If they weren't,
I wonder if they've got like an overall team cooldown then. It's probably worth asking Thailander at that one. Skill mods? I can't talk today. Skill mods are basically the same. However, because you're working on a tier system, they're basically going to be reverted to something akin to weapon mods. So it doesn't matter. There are no longer any requirements for skill mods.
Awesome.
Great. I can delete most of the ones I've got. The idea being you just keep the higher tier ones, the higher value ones.
Yeah. But I imagine the values are going to be reduced significantly.
Yeah, but they should. You're still going to have, a decent amount.
But you can only run mods. Is this gear mods or skill mods?
Mods.
Can you have skill gear mods as well? Oh, I don't know.
I think they're going to be like simplifying it completely.
Well, I read somewhere that they're only putting mods on the same pieces that have. It's only mask, chest, and backpack that have mods now.
Is it?
I think so.
I think we've got a question about that. Yeah, it was chest, backpack, and mask. The only gear pieces with mods. Yeah. I like it. I don't have to carry so many mods around in my inventory anymore.
Reducing the need for the 300 stash space.
It does feel like they've gone a long way to kind of sort out your inventory space.
Yeah.
It feels like they're streamlining the game more than anything. With recalibration, changing, the fact you can store attributes, that the only cool thing is obviously you're going to still be looking for like that one piece that's slightly higher than what you've got, but at least you're going to know what it is going forward. Because the chances are you're going to be running the highest value attribute piece anyway. Battery mods are going to go. No longer will you need them because skill tiers and the fact that skill mods aren't power requirement anymore. And, we talked about explosive damage, no longer going to roll. And finally, there was some slight improvements to skill deployment. So basically, there will be faster skill deployments for some skills. And we'll find out more about that in the future, I think.
Cool.
But that's pretty much it. It was quite a quick state of the game today, I thought. They got straight on with it, and
we didn't mention the.
Did we forget something again?
There was shit. What was it? It was the thing they did right at the beginning. Hamish was like, people were going in the dark zone behind an invisible wall and shooting people, and they fixed it.
There you go. You mentioned it.
Woohoo! Done. Ticked.
Spent more or less time than them? It was probably less time than them. They were pretty on the ball today.
Yeah, that's good.
What do you think overall of skill changes then?
I mean, I don't really care because I don't use skill builds, but I think it's a good move. I mean, it makes sense and logically, but I won't be using them.
What about when you get one tapped by Seekers? Because some dude's running tier 6 build. But he should be glass cannon, right?
Yeah. I would have seen him and shot him before his Seekers hit me.
Okay. And before you've got like hit by the freaking turret going.
Yeah.
I think I'm on board with it. I like using skill builds.
I like skills.
I like skills. I'm interested to see what the healing capabilities of this is,
Ooh.
especially during team play, because we have no dedicated healer. So it would be kind of cool because next week we're finding out about episode 3 and the new specialization. Is it or isn't it a flamethrower? Finally, we will know.
Oh, we don't need it after that turret.
Well, no, technically we don't, but a mobile flame turret would be kind of cool. That'd be an interesting question. If we get a flamethrower, does overcharge increase our flamethrower gun?
No. I don't think that's going to affect any of the specializations. That would be wrong.
But it's also division, so you never know. Anyway, that's it for news today. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens next week. We're supposed to get Dark Zone news today, but thank God Luke's not here because I think he would have been pretty pissed off the fact that we didn't.
Can he watch State of the Game?
He couldn't get out of bed, so I'm assuming unless he's got his phone next to him.
His phone will be next to him, 100%.
You reckon?
Yeah.
And to be fair, he did message us back today, so yeah. I have to see. I have to find out. We just have to wait to find out when the Dark Zone information is going to be coming, because that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to grinding for builds again. We've got a gear score creep, or world tier.
Who you call a creep?
The other thing I thought, though, if we're getting an increase, right, does that mean we have another stronghold coming?
Probably.
Hopefully. We'll see. Okay, questions and feedback. Okay, I put out asking what people thought of today's state of the game. We've got a few extra things in there as well, but first off, we've got Seamaster GMT asking why are the side missions only available to be played once in the game? Why not make them replayable like the main missions? I would really enjoy being able to run some of them multiple times. It would add another layer of content to a game that really needs it. I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, but I feel like
we've done this already before in the Division 1.
I feel like if they did that, they would get more backlash than people like actually enjoying it. I know it sounds like a good idea, but I feel like you're just reusing whole crap. Like, you know,
if they changed them up, but I can understand. I think if it had been one of those things that had been there from the start, so like you did the side missions, you could go back and do them again if you wanted, but you didn't have to.
Maybe like add like 3 or 4 in a week that has like a modifier in. Like that's a better idea. Don't bring them all back and say, hey, you can do these willy-nilly. Just bring a couple back in every week, and they're hard as hell.
I was just thinking, what happens if in year 2 we get modifiers across all the missions, though?
You're dreaming, but you know.
Okay, next up, Angry Chef Guy says, I'm very concerned with the future of this game, with no reason to grind or farm with some of these changes. Also, without knowing what type of new content we will be getting for year 2, what will we need all this god-rolled shit for? What are your thoughts on my concerns?
This has got a very valid point.
I think this is the same. This is like the common consensus of the entire community at the minute. I know Thailander has been out, you know.
There's
Godspeed.
only one.
Yeah, there is only one Thailander. Like say, you fucking put me off. Basically, the dude's a freaking godsend. He's been out on Twitter. You know, you want to ask him a question directly, he'll answer you back straight up on Twitter, and he's pretty forthcoming with the changes and the reasons why, and he defends it as well. But you know, a lot of people have kind of asked this question: why should we bother coming back, or why should we play this sort of game when there's nothing to do? I can completely coincide with that. We're playing Tarkov at the minute. We're not playing
the
Division.
Yeah, but Tarkov is a game that doesn't really have an ending. You know?
But neither did the Division 1. Neither did the Division 1. The Dark Zone. That's where we spent our time. You know? And that's why we're waiting for Dark Zone news for the Division 2. But there's stuff coming. That's all we know. But if I'll be honest, if it's global events, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's being honest, you know. I can't do another year of global events and wait till November for replayable content, because that's how long it was last time. You know, there's a lot. I don't know. Rob, what do you think?
What about what?
About the fact that there's no content. We don't know what we're going to be getting for year 2.
Well, I think I said last week, there's no point reworking all this. The system, like, it feels like they just keep trying to rework the system. But like, the gameplay is fun, no matter what's it like. Since the game came out, the game is fun. It's the lack of things to do.
Yeah, which is why everyone's kind of left it for a minute. The fact that you can complete the episodic content in what, 2.5 hours, 3 hours?
If that.
Before we do leave that, I see this a lot on Twitter. Do you think we should pay for a year 2 pass?
Yeah, we asked this last week.
Did we ask this last week?
Yeah.
I feel like we get it asked. Maybe it's just
we answered it last week.
We answered it last week. We asked it ourselves and we answered it last week. Yes. Because free content is
bullshit.
That's one way of putting it. Okay, Cheshire Cat says, I was once again busy with chat, so I haven't really heard much about what they were saying on stream. Need to catch up on it soon. But from what I've seen in chat, many players are not happy with the upcoming changes, with comments like, rip solo players that's focused on group play, not for solo players. What about them? Before we go any further, they said there's hybrid builds coming. That's going to be the solo players.
Also, the scaling hasn't been mentioned whatsoever. The scaling is still a factor of the game.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to do really hard stuff, like do the raid on your own. Good luck with that.
Oh, God. Can you imagine? Someone's going to... I was going to say someone's going to do it, but I don't...
No, I don't. It's not possible.
Buddy and Lucy at the same time, or trying to do either side of the plane
No,
at the same
you wouldn't be
time.
able to do Razorback, would you? There's this design specifically so you can't do it one time.
Challenge accepted.
Okay.
On hardcore mode.
There isn't a hardcore mode, dude.
Hey, what do you mean there isn't a hardcore mode?
Oh, okay, yeah, there is. I thought you meant like a hardcore version of the... I guess there is. I'm going to shut up now. I would take... What? No, why would you do that? Why would you spend... That's just insane. Right, my goal is to get to a 500 gear score with a decent enough build to attempt the raid solo.
Die going in the door.
Boomer just shoots you in the face. Done. End. You just spent 500 hours doing that for no reason.
How does that even work solo? Like, you have to grab his eye and then you have to get on the turret?
Yeah. Well, you can shoot him while he's looking at you, but it's very difficult to do.
Why? Because he's looking at you. He's like...
Yeah, because you have to shoot him in the back.
Well, if someone out there manages to do Operation Dark Hours solo on hardcore mode, please video it and send it in to us. We want to see how you've done it.
And we'll laugh.
Yeah. Anyway, RIP DZ, that's going to be so bad in there with those changes, Cheshire Cat says. And so you basically eliminate the need to grind for gear in a looter shooter. It makes me really curious to catch up on the info they gave. I know that the chat is kind of like Spanish soap opera, uber dramatic about nothing. So, however, I'm excited to rewatch the state of the game. I'm usually on the opposite end of what the chat is saying, so I guess I might like the upcoming changes.
I'm loving that reference to Spanish soap opera. It's amazing.
Can you explain that to me?
Salty chat. I'm just going to think of a Spanish soap opera now.
Salt opera.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like we're like that. I feel like the community is kind of one way and we're the complete opposite half the time. Though at the minute, we're of the same consensus. There's nothing to do. I'm going to go play something else.
Yeah, but we're not salty about it. We're not like raging.
No, a lot of people got fucking butthurt about it. And I'm just like, it's
a video game, dude. Chill.
Chris, we almost went to war the other week and we're sat here complaining about a video game. I don't know which is more important. You know what I say? Get Brexit done. Yes.
Cool.
Our good German friend Boris says, anyone else have the invulnerable...
It's Russian.
German, Russians. It's him. Invulnerable Shield Eagle Bearer build in the DZ flashed right before their eyes when they mentioned the overcharge of skills. No, just me. Oh. See, Boris is already theory crafting on stuff that's
but overcharge for 2 seconds, Boris. Right?
I think it's going to be longer than 2 seconds. It's going to take longer. Have you seen the arc on that fucking turret for the flamethrower?
I understood. Like 2 to 3 seconds.
Did you say 2 to 3 seconds?
Yes.
Today? I didn't. I was trying to do something at the same time as like listening to it, but you're literally going to have that on your turret, and it's going to be over.
Yeah.
He also says, anyone think we might get a gear score jump to your old mention of 515 gear in the Dark Zone? Well, we already have that confirmed that something's coming. Whether that's going to be part of the package, I don't know. I think it's about time we had something extra in the Dark Zone, but having that... Do you think, thinking about it now, do you think they'll give us better quality gear, higher quality gear in the Dark Zone going forward?
No.
Because that would make more sense.
No.
You don't reckon?
No.
Instead of doing like a slightly better gear score increase, just make it so you've got higher value loot in there to get to extract.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I just don't think they made that mistake in the first game. I don't think they're going to make it again. Because they had a lot of shit about people. I don't want to go in the Dark Zone to get good gear.
Yeah, now it's, I don't want to play with anyone else. Why would I want to play with anyone else? Leave Brittany alone. Anyway, yeah, he says, which would make sense since we're all going to be farming again for the new gear. Why not grind for all the new gear score as well in the Dark Zone? Well, Rob said no, so unfortunately it's not going to happen. Jernsum NL says, I'm worried a little bit for my solo playstyle. I can see how builds supplementing each other can help forcing build diversity, but not everyone plays in groups. It is a fair point. As Thylander said on State of the Game today, I'm pretty sure he's been out on Twitter saying that he's probably going to be running some sort of hybrid build. So there's going to be options available. I don't know. We need to figure out how everything's going to play out build-wise, don't we, Rob? We could have gear sets for solo players now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I reckon we might get some more gear sets.
Let's just sort the ones we have out first.
Make them viable options. Yes.
Does that mean we get more loadouts if we have more viable gear? Builds, sorry.
We already have load. No, they've added. You can have like 15 loadouts now, can't you? Is that right?
I thought it was only 6.
No, I'm pretty sure you can add. You can have more. They added more. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I believe you.
I could be wrong. I could have dreamt that. I don't know why I would dream about that.
But hey, it's what multiple characters is for, right?
Yeah.
Additional loadouts.
Indeed.
So that's.
I mean, you're not going to need mules anymore.
Chester says, I'm a solo player myself, and sometimes it felt as if they were making some of the content with a group in mind anyway. Kenley College, for example, utterly annoying for a solo player with all the NPCs spawning everywhere at the same time. Left, right, in front of you, behind you. I hated it. So I'm a bit worried as well for the solo player experience. But I agree with you. All we can do is wait and see, hoping for the best.
You weren't the only one that hated it.
What, Kenley College? Okay, next question, Rob.
What?
Is Kenley College going to be any better with the gear changes?
No. Just delete that content. It's trash.
Okay, Agent Putt asks if the chests, backpacks, and masks are the only gear pieces with mod slots, essentially meaning in order to get the perfect build, you have more RNG on those pieces. Would it not make more sense to spread the RNG and have the mod slots on gloves, holster, and knee pads instead? It is a very fair point. That's a lot based on those 3 gear pieces, isn't it?
Work in progress, all right? We don't know.
They could change it. They could change it to the other 3 pieces. I think it's a valid point though. If you've got enough to chase after on your backpack and chest as it is, I kind of feel like that is a little bit too much. That's like 4 or 5 things you got to get like the perfect RNG.
Yeah.
Thank you for your input.
You're welcome.
GFid says, can you let me know when you're done resetting the gear so I can come play it again? To be fair, he has a valid point. Sometime in the future. We don't know when. We'll let you know.
I'm pretty sure once they've done this, if it doesn't work, they're just going to give up.
No, they're going to do it again.
I mean, what? Seems like a waste of resources.
Can you imagine if they do this, right? We get a gear score jump, and then next month they're like, guess what, guys?
We're redoing the gear again.
Well, not even that. They're like, guess what?
We realized it was shit, so now we're doing it again, and we're putting it slightly back to what it was, but not quite.
We're just going to remove gear altogether, and
you have to run around naked. You get shot once, you're dead.
So there is a hardcore mode.
I'm just imagining lots of agents running around just pants.
It would just be Dark Souls with guns. Because like you can get like a toga style like nappy thing in that.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. A
game.
loincloth.
Yeah, a loincloth, that's it. You can get a loincloth and complete the whole of Dark Souls in a loincloth and a club.
They won't do that though. Do you know why?
There's no clubs in
because it would ruin apparel events.
I mean,
they get a lot of money from that.
Do they?
Well,
who buys them?
I did last time.
You fucking idiot!
I didn't want to grind it out.
The only thing I've wanted is the specialization weapon skins, and I was like, I really like that. Didn't buy it. I still haven't bought it. So
no, it's the only thing you can't grind for, right?
Not in the game, no.
No, yeah. That's what I mean. Well, God. We could grind for it out of the game. Dude.
Anyway, off topic. Where were we?
Frederick Flylander, there can only be one. He responded with, I like them quite a lot.
Yeah, it's Frederick Flylander, fan of the show, says, I like the changes quite a lot. I mean, I hope so. If not, say something now. We can get it changed before it comes out. Can you imagine if he posts like, nah, they're a bit shit. To be fair, that would be just as good. But yeah, Hughes, thank you for everyone's feedback today. That's being some good fun. We did it, Rob. We did it. We managed to do an episode without Luke. I'm really sad that he's not here though. Unless he's secretly playing Tarkov, and then I'm gonna be a little bit pissed because we're not playing Tarkov with him.
He probably has been playing Tarkov these whole 3 days because you can't tell.
Can you not?
No.
Robert?
Unless he's logged into Discord. No one can tell.
Are you talking from experience?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's fine. You don't work for bad bosses anymore? Can I say
I've never
that?
worked for bad bosses. What are you on about?
Okay. I'll leave it there. Yeah, it seems like everyone's potentially not on board for the new changes, but it's fine, right?
What are we on about?
Well, solo players kicking off, people getting hit with.
But we've literally had like 2% of the changes. How can you like kick off about? Oh, there's nothing. We can't do solo stuff anymore. You don't even fucking know what builds you can create. Just shut up. Stupid.
See, this is
They've given you examples of what you can do. So ridiculous how they're kicking off about that. I don't understand.
Yeah, but this is the division every single fucking week. You think we'd have learned by now? It's kind of like work. You think things would get better, but it's still on fire. Expecting things to get better. Anyway, I've enjoyed this week's episode. I hope you have too. I think that's it. I don't want to talk anymore. Robert, go.
You can find us over at SITREP Radio.
What were you looking for?
What are you on about?
You like
show notes?
Okay.
You can find us over at SITREP Radio on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as our personal accounts. Send any questions or feedback for the show to sitrepradiopod@gmail.com, or you can find us on Discord. The links in the show notes. We want to hear your thoughts on the news and the topics we cover, so be sure to leave a comment and join the discussion at any of those places. Mike?
Please leave a review of the show using the podcast app of your choice. We genuinely enjoy reading them all. The feedback is normally excellent, and at the end of the day, it does actually help other people to find our little show as well. And if you enjoy... I've completely read that fucking wrong today. And if you listen all the way to the end of the show, you will hear all the juicy details about the other awesome shows that are available on the Mash Those Buttons network. Thank you. But then I've got to read my bit now, so that's pretty awkward. I'm thrown off completely.
Just don't read it, because we don't do live streams anyway.
Not at the minute, because I just think it would be absolutely embarrassing to die on Tarkov. And Luke's like, do it, but he wouldn't be the one streaming, so he doesn't give a fuck.
I might fire up a stream after we record. See how it goes.
Yeah, do it.
All right, Luke.
And before we go, do we want to announce what we're doing at the minute, or not really?
What do you mean?
Is this potential?
What?
This?
What's this? Oh,
this.
Right. We had some feedback on. I changed what I was doing on YouTube last week. We had some feedback. We are trying something new. It might
Whether
work.
it happens or not.
It might work. It might not.
So if you're watching this on YouTube and you've made it this far, it worked.
It worked. If
Thank
it didn't,
you.
then it'll be just what I did last week.
Anyway, we have been SITREP Radio. Thank you so much for listening to us, agents. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Sequence complete. Security protocols deactivated. Server data replaced and CPU destroyed. Terminating connection in 3, 2...
You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction complete.